Just a quick side bit before we get started. I mentioned a cat I've adopted recently. This cat will interfere with the video recording. She will constantly try and get things. She's attempting to chew on something that she's not allowed to right now as I'm recording this little prelude to the chaos. Here is a photo of her. This is why this video has taken so long, in between actually building the city. Without further ado, let's begin. Greetings everyone, it's me, Clockwork. And first things first, apologies as usual. We've been doing some major overhauls with the project, but I can safely say I can unveil Fort Frolic. The 5th or 6th area that's built that's in BioShock 1. Now for the first part, as always, this area has been completely restored. No cracks, no leaks, no lunatics. And if you haven't told, new texture pack. I can thank the two geniuses that have been building this area, building this texture pack up. No more minor details, no more photoshopping bugs that I've made. All done beautifully. As you can see in this bathysphere chamber, the station's been more or less restored. Now I can say we've done enough to do a little tour, but some areas are still under construction. As for instance, there's no water or bathysphere here. But moving on, we can clearly see everything else is done. I will focus for now on the in-game locations that we've done, before moving on to the out-of-game areas. Here's the main atrium, where the main bloke himself, Sanders, says, "Welcome to Fort Frolic." Following up the stairs, ignore that folks, flip my phone on silent. Up the stairs we can follow up to the theatre, which has been beautifully restored by yours truly. It's my first time seeing this part of the texture pack upgrade. Well done, Theo. And Pusha. What is that? That's his name. Oh, I forgot that. I can't pronounce his name. There's only 10 things on. Before I go any further, the reason why I haven't done a video recently is that, as before, these locations are getting much, much bigger. And if you can't, ow. And I've recently adopted a cat. That, for some reason, confuses my elbow and my computer chair for her scratching post. So if you hear me suddenly screaming, it's because she's latched onto my arm, which is why I haven't been doing any videos recently. She always, without fail, tries to bite me when I'm recording. Ain't that right, you little hairball? Ain't that right? I'll put a photo up her upright when I get a chance. But if you've seen my Reddit page, she is a chaos gremlin in cat form. But as for the theatre, completely restored with a backstage area. This entire atrium has been redone as well. If we follow up here, we can arrive to the elevator, which will take us back down. And if we follow up here, take these stairs upwards, we can head into the theatre projector room, where Sander Colvin himself lives, I think. This is another game area where we will store videos and projector reels. Taking out here, heading back down here. We can retake the elevator back down to explore the rest of the city. we have decided to remove the stage here, as we suspected Santa set it up during the Civil War, which would not go well with the timeline that we're going with. Now this way, if you look out this window, you can see a beautiful sea view of the ocean floor. This has all been redone by hand. Now, as stated before, some of these stores are out of game, which means that they have not been fully put in and decorated. By following down here, we can head down to this atrium area. Now we can check out the men's and women's bathrooms. As I've stated for folks, we've gone through upgrading the texture pack. Some doors locations will need to be altered. Going down these stairs. We can explore other stores. Now, this game is in area, it's a clothing store, we haven't quite finished yet. Moving onwards, we can go down here. It's this little bar and bistro area. I must admit, I am very proud of this area. Now, we haven't quite finished the water view of this area, but that over there is the tram line. Because like all locations, it will be connected by a train line, tram line, and the bathysphere network. Now this area was inaccessible due to a dead person being caught in the doors, I believe. It's been more or less restored to its former glory, and it's ready for habitation by players. That area is an out-of-game area. It will lead upwards to an area that I have a feeling people might like. If we've gone around to finish it, I must confess I've been a bit forgetful. One of the new features in this texture pack is that the pneumo tubes have been restored and given a proper shape, not just a blocky look. And this was done using an item frame of all things. Now, heading back here, we're going to explore a small detail we've made for the new model. The little sister vent has been properly rounded and has some more 3D elements to it. Out here we can see a cityscape of the ocean. As I said before folks, some areas are still under construction. That's going to probably be an NPC building that we will be replacing and putting in a better one. Moving on to this area, we can find the tobacco store. We're working on developing some new models for this area, as honestly in game it was pretty barren. Now heading down here, we can explore more or less an empty area. We're hoping to have more details for this area soon. And this will be the storeroom once it's properly built. Now taking advantage of the glowstone effects, the glowing effects of signs, we've tried to recreate the neon lights that you see a lot in this area. It's been done to various degrees, like what you saw in the bar area here. But moving on upwards, we can take the stairs right back up here, and we can now head to Poseidon Plaza, I believe it's called, or Fleet Hall, I can't recall. Now here is where one of the more major changes we've had to make in order to accommodate the other locations in this area. We've extended this tunnel and elongated it a little bit. Because right now under our feet is the tram line, which is still under construction, because the blueprints that we were using, unfortunately, were a little bit too damaged, too angled for this area, so we had to modify it heavily. This area has more or less remained unchanged. It's still that area in the game, just unfrozen, but it does connect to the multiplayer location seen in BioShock 2, the additional location of Fort Frolic. Yes, so quick apologies from the sudden gap in the thing. My cat waltzed in, stared at me, and then tried to bite my elbow. I paused it just now. This area has more or less remained unchanged, with additional areas tacked on. Starting with St. Prize Casino. As you can see, the bar's been restored. The pool table is on the second floor. Second floor? I think this is the second floor. Little trick used to make it. We're using signs and trapdoors and carpets and string. The slot machines have remained more or less the same. And the bar stools have that lovely curve to them now instead of that blockiness. Also, small detail, you can now actually add things to the storefronts, to the windows. So you can put your things on display when selling them. Heading this way, we can check out the Rapture Record Store, which still sells all the music goods Rapture's needs, overlooking a beautiful, wide, tall view of the ocean floor. Like all other areas, restored, no fire, no damage, no lunatics. One small out-of-game touch we've made to it is that we've added a little storage area for the shop's spare items that aren't on display. Moving on to this area, we have the Pharaoh's Fortune Casino. It's remained largely unchanged, pending a small leak that occurred at some point. Yes, we're trying to utilize all materials in the game. We've also used concrete powder, which in hindsight isn't a smart decision, but it's still a cool one. This overlooks a beautiful area of the Kashmir restaurant skyscraper. But other than that, the only slight change to the location is this office we are planning to build right here, and a vault containing gold and iron and gold ingots eventually. Jumping down the banister, we head right out the door. Not feral. Small minor update is this. We are still trying to build the statues that are here. They're not easy, they're weird as hell. This area, like most out of view areas in this game, is being built. This one will be prevented for any player that wants to do it. Play the Rapture game. It will be decorated in time, hopefully though. But it does have its own second floor right up here, which is still to be developed. Now, over there is Eve's garden. We will go there in a second, but to finish our exploration down here, we'll just quickly head down here. St. Clair's Spirits. Oh, just a quick heads up, folks, my cat is on my table. If you hear a funny noise, it's my cat. But other than that, St. Clair's Spirits has been more or less restored to its former glory, overlooking a lovely bistro building, and she's gone. Now, a slight change we've had to make to accommodate the rest of the structure. We've lowered the stairs down here a little to the storage area, containing several barrels and wine bottle holders, wine racks, that's it, that's what. Heading this way back out again. The lower half of each of this area. Checking out this other cigar store. It's been more or less left as it is. We're still decorating the interior areas of most stores, but we're leaving them, as I said, to the players who want to. Finally, we head to Eve's garden on the lower floor, restored to its absolute beauty, with some minor alterations, including additional lights to take out the gloominess of it all. Just moving around to this area, we can now explore the bar. Oh, small detail, we've improved the phone booths, given some nice little details from rounding edges, trying to remove the blockiness, while still trying to keep the Minecraft theme to it, because you can't really get rid of that. Small little Easter egg if you haven't noticed. We've also added a little bar and little bouncer area. A little band sign. Moving down here, we can now explore the other areas that are in this room, where Ryan tried to test his golf club tricks on her, but didn't work. With that lovely ocean view, which honestly God would have terrified me if that thing broke. Do you think to keep the water out in case the glass broke? And that, to my knowledge, concludes all the in-game locations. I'm probably missing one, and I apologise in advance for it, but we will be exploring the out-of-game locations now as well. To start with, this little bathroom. Of course, on the other side, there's the mail. Down here is the changing room for the girls. Which can also be accessed by the staff area here, which connects to the second floor. Heading this way, we find an additional bed for the Eve's Garden's second best girl, or bloke, I don't judge, with a lovely fictional view of the ocean. And also safe. Heading back this way, we can go to the upstairs section, taking these stairs up with. We're going to find additional offices that have been built, as well as other more practical locations like the staff kitchen, offices, and other spots, which is quite lovely. Here are some additional beds. Bit of a fun fact, folks. You know this map is massive when you have not explored an area, and I did not know that area existed just then when I started recording. Heading this way, we can a public an additional one. A little waiting area, and this area, folks, is the train station that connects the Atlantic Express to the rest of Rapture. As you can see, no train has been added yet, as we are still planning to connect the cities through the train lines first. Heading back up here, we can see the control panels, and up here are the Atlantic Express administration rooms, all done in a 1940s to 50s style, complete with its own little water fountain, with a record room, up here you'll find additional areas. This one is a private hotel, dining room and restaurant, complete with a VIP room. Think of it as a rival to the Kashmir restaurant. This area actually overlooks a tunnel that we went through to connect to the rest of Fort Frolic, which is right over there. And over there is the multiplayer location, which we will explore in a moment. Now heading back down here, we can take the elevator back down. Oh, and just a small note folks, here's the kitchen. Back downstairs, we can head this way. As you can see, it connects to the rest of the Poseidon Plaza through here. Down here, this area is still under construction, but it mostly serves as a tram line to the rest of the city. Heading back here, we can explore the rest of the city. Now we'll be taking this route here, which will lead us to the mall. As you can see folks, this ocean section has been pretty much done by hand. And yes folks, my cat is on the table and she's trying to destroy something. I may have to pause the video again. As you can see, some minor touch-ups are needed, but this tunnel is designed to connect Fort Frolic's multiplayer location. Little one, don't be naughty. Sorry, this one's designed to connect the multiplayer location with the rest of Rapture, and to give that frozen area of a purpose to exist, because it didn't have much of a use outside the game. Now we're in the multiplayer location, like all other areas, it's been restored. No leaks, no fuss, no problems. As much as there wasn't much going on with the multiplayer locations, considering there was very little leakage or damage to structures. Now we've had to take a lot of creative liberties in this area, like that restaurant we just passed. But like all other areas, this area is relying a little bit more on players to develop shops and locations. But that does not mean we've skimped on the details. Hang on, I'm just gonna... Sorry folks, my cat's being painful. Heading this way and down here, we can now explore a new location area. This is designed to emulate the burial at sea location, just for the middle classes. That's what Fort Frolic was mostly designed to accommodate. Little cafes, booths, diners. And this area is a store. Of some kind. Heading this way. We can head back out here. And onto the main area, which is this way. Now, in game, you start on that end. And like the Poseidon, and as for Fleet Hall, like the statue there, it's still under construction due to the ridiculous shape it is. But here is the main atrium area of the location. We've had to make extensive modifications to this area as well. For instance, this area, which is the basement, which we're still building, does not exist in-game. Heading up here, we can see the Poseidon Plaza, the upper atrium area, completely with the piano you can't play, and the Pharaoh Casino, I believe, which has been beautifully restored, although it has been expanded and enlarged to accommodate the rest of the area. In the multiplayer location, this area is a lot smaller, but we've had to make changes to it. Which means expanding the location to include lots of beautifully designed structures, as well as some other locations like casino tables, slot machines, and a beautiful enlarged ocean view that will eventually come. Moving on to this area, this is the main entryway that most patrons will enter through. Some lovely phone booths, and some minor decorations that we've attempted to recreate. Taking a little trip down here, we can head into the Adam's Eve garden. Sorry folks, another cat. This time she attempted to eat the microphone. Like I said, this area has been completely restored, and like the casino, it's had to be enlarged to accommodate the rest of the structure. But heading up here, we can now explore the rest of the upper floor. We may add additional chairs and locations to it, but other than that, it's done pretty well. The dual bars next to the booze stack is open, along with the additional bar. With the additional secondary entrance into the area. The back stages have been properly restored and rebuilt. Although we have had to skimp on the details due to the rather sparse nature of this area. Considering it's a combat map, it's not that surprising. Heading out here, we can cross the balcony to explore the rest of the location. Take a little shortcut down here. Actually, no. Take a little trip this way. We can explore this other little detailed area here, which is basically that area on that side, minus the piano. And we can actually see the tunnel that we came through, which connects the rest of Rapture to this area here. Now, quick little schism over here. This is the upper area of the place we visited earlier. An additional bar and diner area has been put in. We also made a minor modification to the little display case we put here. The model, it's actually rooted dirt, which has been transformed into that, which I find to be quite lovely. An additional storefront over here, which has been tweaked slightly, but not by a lot, which makes sense because this area has not been built. Heading this way, we can take the secondary entrance into this location, which leads us to the main transport hub of Rapture's Frolic. It is a bit of a walk, I must admit, but you get a lovely view of the ocean. All beautifully done and explored. Yes. this is where the tunnel leads to. Because there was two gapped areas here, we've decided to sacrifice one to allow additional locations to be built. Right here we have the Rapture's transport office for the metro area. All beautifully done. Complete with computers, equipment, a little viewing port for the emergency bathysphere that you come in on when you first come to Fort Frolic. And a little bathroom too. Heading down here. Oh, this, folks, is all done by signage. There's a 3x7 sign. Heading down here, we can also see here. This little bathysphere has been redone, although some changes are going to need to be made, as this tunnel has not been built yet. Heading back here, we can now just give a quick little tour around here, so you may see all the little areas we have yet to build. Like I said, all the stores in-game are not available, largely, but they will be available for exploration and playing through in the game. This little hub here has been built, but still is yet to be decorated. As you can see, all shops have been restored. They just need some personal touches here and there. Storerooms, ventilation systems, all been beautifully done. And they'll come with that lovely animation sound they'll come. Right here. So folks, my cat just attempted to eat something she shouldn't have. That's gonna be it. I've locked the door, folks, but she's figured out how to open the door handles. Now, heading... Oh, got lost. Heading back up, we can head to Fort Frolic's Theatre. Make our way through the thing. We can now explore the backstage area. Now this is Sanders' own personal room. It's got all the lovely amenities that come with being a pompous, eccentric idiot, including a fireplace. All the other areas have more or less the same features. Dressing room, mirrors, and a call button. Some areas are still have other purposes, like this one here. This is just a storeroom for props, a little sky background, and some backup chairs in case one of them gets damaged. Should some splicers decide to eat one of the chairs. More additional storage areas. Empty room. And another entryway down into the theatre area. Now this area is still under construction, but this will be Fort Frolic's TV area. Think newscasters, prop shows, ads, everything else. It's still under construction, but it will take up about a 2-story area, complete with various other necessities. Moving down here, we'll find additional props, such as stage props, dress, everything else you need. Moving this way, just for a quick little detail, we can take this elevator upwards. We will find more dressing rooms, as well as a place to utilize displays and for prop users to change the background or pull on the curtains. Obviously, most modern areas have stairs as well as elevators, as you can see. Now, heading this way, we can continue with a little quick tour of the TV area that we have gotten done. As we head down this way, we can head into the, whatever this area is called, the area of the bar and bistro and the cigar shops. We can head down this way to where all the films that Rapture has contained and owns will be kept in storage, as I believe films of this area were flammable, I remember, and as such they need to be kept stored carefully. This area is of course free to use for most people who have the money to use them. Heading back down this way, we can explore different locations. And hang on, my cat's about to do something. Right. Moving on to the other locations. We'll head back to Poseidon Plaza. Just give you a quick rundown of the construction. It's still under construction. And as such, it is still a bit touch and go. But just a quick thing before I forget. This area is, like all the other areas in Frolic, it's still a bit barren. But it does give a lovely view of the ocean floor with some rather lovely buildings. When this area is placed in the main map location, we do intend to flood the rest of the ocean, adding additional places and adding additional ocean life, seaweed, fish, everything else that's needed outside the city. Now, heading down here, we can explore the tram line. Like I said, folks, it is still under construction. But this tram line will connect to the rest of the city. Here we have a little waiting area. This area will serve as the, what's it called? The platform for the tram. Heading down here, we can find the rest of the platform. Now here we have additional views of the ocean floor, as well as some tunnels that not offer only a beautiful view of the buildings above and the ocean below, but will connect us to those buildings eventually in time. This area is still being built. We're planning to put a little waiting area maybe, or a little fountain for a VIP waiting area. Heading this way, we can follow these stairs upwards. These will serve as tramline offices that we're still being built, as well as other additional locations. Heading up here, we can finally explore. Hang on a sec, I'm a little disorientated. Give me a second. Alright folks, I'm back. I am truly sorry, I explored the bulk of the map, and there's no real out-of-game locations that I can really warrant additional time for this video. As you can see on this map, we've explored all the good stuffs. I will admit, this area is not as big as Arcadia, but it is much bigger than some other areas, although not as massive as some of the one we're currently working on. Alright. That is it, folks. I will catch you next time. Be sure to like, subscribe, all that lovely, lovely stuff. And I shall see you next time. Hopefully, it's not as late as this one, and I apologize for it, folks. Between the cat and other things, I've been rather busy. Next video will be the power plant itself and the most epic thing that happens in the BioShock games. So, would you kindly hang on until we get to the Hephaestus level? Until then, see you next time.